Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode. This episode will be the first in a couple that I do regarding Ralph's time in Interstate Corrections Compact. Legal disclaimer as always, anything that I discuss in this video is considered alleged and allegations only. Further disclaimer, Ralph will not be talking to anybody regarding this entire situation. He is not speaking about it or anything. This is me talking about it because after hearing everything that he went through, there needs to be accountability for Colorado and or South Carolina Department of Corrections as well. What he was forced to endure is reprehensible and illegal in every sense of the word. With that also being said, coming forward with all of this, I did tell him that I do have a real fear of further retaliation within the Colorado Department of Corrections against Ralph for all of this. They've already retaliated against him once with all of this. And so I do have a real fear of retaliation furthermore with this. So I just want to make sure that is publicly known as a possibility. So our story begins on late 2017. The facility that Ralph was at the time, there was an intelligence officer that came up to him and basically approached him saying, hey, Colorado DOC has an escalating gang violence issue. We need your help. And he basically told this particular intelligence officer, I will not name them, that they know that he is inactive. There's no reason that they need to be coming to him to ask him for help on a problem that they created themselves. They acknowledged that. They, over the course of a week or so, basically bribed him to say, hey, we know that you're an artist and you have a great art skill. We'll get you access to a hobby shop and art supplies if you help us regain control. Again, over a course of a couple weeks, this conversation happened. He eventually said, okay, fine, you get me art supplies. I'll go ahead and I'll help you regain control. He upheld his end of the bargain, and instead of DOC saying thank you for helping us fix our own problem that we created, November 30th of 2018, they stuck him on a transport van and shipped him off to South Carolina. That entire transport took about 12 days. There is a bunch that happened in that time. I'm trying to keep this condensed, so I'm only going to touch on a couple high points. The entire time that they were transporting him, the staff was telling Ralph how basically Colorado was had told the transport staff that Colorado didn't want him, Colorado didn't like him, just do whatever they have to do and get rid of him. So while they were transporting, they got into Louisiana, and in the evening / overnight, one night, the transport staff pulled over, opened up the door, took off his shackles and said, hey, we think what Colorado's doing to you is jacked up. Why don't you just get out and run? We'll just tell them that you escaped. He said, hell no, I know what you guys are doing. You want me to try to escape so you can use lethal force and kill me and then tell Colorado that it was justified. So no, put the shackles back on. The staff laughed at him and mocked him and said, you know what, gosh, it looks like you got us figured out, don't you? And then slammed the door and the journey continued. When they approached Georgia, there was a county jail in Georgia. I will not name the county jail, but this particular county jail already had a room set up, ironically, for Ralph as a holding cell. When they got there and he approached the door, he had overheard the transport staff talking to one of the medical staff people there at the facility, at the jail. And basically they told the person in Georgia to go ahead and put Ralph in this particular cell that had already been set up with other people in there for the purpose of essentially killing him. And the medical staff member at the county jail said, no, I have no idea who you guys are, what you're doing or what your plan is, but we ain't doing that here. You take him and you get the hell out of here and leave. So the transport staff put Ralph back on the van, and then they approached South Carolina. When they got to South Carolina, they arrived at Kirkland Correctional Facility, was the first facility. Kirkland is essentially Colorado's version of DRDC, if you kind of have an idea what that is. Kirkland had no record of Ralph, had no idea why he was there, what he was doing, who he was, or anything. They had no idea what to do with him, so they put him in Lieber Correctional Facility. About 2 days after he got to South Carolina, he was moved to Lieber. When he got to Lieber is a predominantly black prison. Ralph is white. When he got to Lieber, he was in his room, and there was a senior staff member there who was also black, who approached his cell with several other black inmates and stuck their head into the cell. I will not name them. Stuck their head into the cell and basically said, what the hell are you doing in my facility, you whitehead piece of shh? And looked at the other black inmates and said, you gonna let him stay in your house, pack his shh, and get him the hell out of here. Which, if you're familiar with prison slang kind of thing, that's essentially that senior staff member instructing the other inmates to go ahead and kill Ralph and get rid of him. So over the course of the 5 months about that Ralph was there, he endured several fights, several beatings. There was a constant threat against his life. He essentially, one of the fights that he got into was a pretty severe one where he was smacked over the face with an object. He doesn't remember what object it was, but it did cut his face slightly here, and it also made his face swell to the point where his eye was swollen so much that it was swollen out, almost out of the socket. He thought he was going to lose his eye. He was able to splash water on his eye. He couldn't close his eye, but he was able to splash water on it to keep it moist so he didn't lose his eye. He was stabbed multiple times, beaten multiple times. He has scars, which I have seen here, on his face. When he was stabbed in both wrists as defense, when he was stabbed, it caused permanent nerve damage and sensory damage in both of his hands. There was also another incident where a alleged guard allegedly smuggled a firearm into another inmate, and when Ralph went to go get his laundry from this inmate through the food slot, they opened the food slot and fired the gun through that, with this particular staff member standing right next to the inmate that was firing the gun. The bullet luckily missed Ralph, shot through there, hit the opposite wall, and shattered some concrete, like a little poof of concrete. Ralph said that the inmate was standing there laughing, and then the staff member also was standing there laughing, making a comment about, "Oh yeah, that's what you get, white boy." So there was several racial things that were done to enhance actionable violence against Ralph. Staff members never stepped in the entire time. I mean, getting stabbed in your hands, you know that there's blood, getting cuts on your face and your eye being swollen and your face being all mashed up. You know there was visible physical damage that he had, and the staff never once stepped in to make sure he was okay. Never once provided physical assistance, medical aid, nothing like that. They just essentially left him in his cell to die. Now, after all of this, like I said, about 5 months into it is when he was at Lieber for about 5 months. After that, they essentially didn't know what to do with him because they were trying to kill him and it wasn't working. So from there, they went ahead and transferred him over to Kirkland Correctional, back, I should say, to Kirkland Correctional on the death row section of that facility. For purposes of trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter, because again, there is a lot of information that we're going to be covering, I want to go ahead and cut this one short just for here. The next video is going to discuss the situation when he was transferred over to Kirkland Correctional Facility on death row. I would like to say that the story gets better, but it does not. So again, I will go ahead and get into all of that on the next video. If you have any questions regarding this, anything I am allowed to discuss, I will. Again, this is a huge civil rights issue, so there are things that I won't be discussing, but if you do have questions, comments, etc., please leave them in the message subject question comments below, and I will go ahead and answer again what I can. Again, Ralph does say thank you for everybody for the love and support. We do have a Facebook page, Beyond a Sentence, as well. Please like, share, subscribe here, and then follow that Facebook page because I'll be posting updates on there as well. So until then, I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and we will catch you on the next episode. So catch you on the flip side.